Hey guys, how's it going? It's Tyler from Tyler's Cichlid Collection. Sorry I haven't been putting up videos lately. I just got done moving from the Northwest out here into Texas, and it's hot. Definitely hot. We're going to talk about flowerhorn breeding. Now the secret to that, obviously, is get a female flowerhorn and a male flowerhorn. There is a difference between the sexes. To define if it's a male, what you're going to do is you're going to grab your fish out, okay, take him out with a net, look towards his anal fin. You're going to see two holes. One's going to be a poop hole, and the other one's going to look like a sharp triangle hole. Now that signals that it's a male. Now if it's a female, you're going to do the same exact thing, except it's going to be a completely circular hole. Yeah, it's that easy. That was step one of the flowerhorn breeding process. The next part of the process is getting your flowerhorns to know each other. Now, you don't just want to, go to the store, spend $100 on this beautiful female or beautiful male, only to take them home, throw them right in the tank, and have them kill each other. No, you don't want to do that. So what you want to do is you want to go to Home Depot or any hardware store, get a light diffuser egg crate. And what you'll do is you're going to cut that thing into size with your tank, slip it right in the middle of the tank, and leave it there. Hold it up via sand, rocks. I've even used clamps to hold mine down. It all works, and I would recommend it. But if you have a different method of doing that, cahoots to you, do it. Just make sure that they're able to see each other and they can't slip through it or break it or any of that good stuff. So take your egg crate out from the middle of the tank and watch your two flowerhorns interact. If any sort of lock lipping or anything happens like that, that's not kissing, that's them trying to kill each other. You need to keep them absolutely separated. If they start killing each other, slip that thing back in and wait another couple months before you go ahead and do it again. Okay, you need to let them acclimate with each other. So that's a really big key right there. So next, what we're going to talk about is the size of the tank. That's going to be comfortable for two of your flowerhorns. Now, as a general rule of thumb, I would recommend, at minimum, I would say 75 gallons. I've said in my previous video that I used 55 gallons to have two flowerhorns in there. Well, that's when they're babies, but when they're in at breeding age, 75 is the minimum. And I would definitely, if you can afford it, get the 75 first. Now, the size of the male to female ratio that you should have for breeding is make sure your male flowerhorn is a lot bigger than your female flowerhorn. I know it sounds weird, but I'm sorry, female flowerhorns in the hobby, they kill anything. They are very vicious. They will attack your male flowerhorn. So, with it being bigger, usually the aggression goes down with the female. That's what I would recommend. Small female, big male. Yes, I'm literally like, she needs to be that big, he needs to be like that big. So, if one partner in the group is more aggressive than the other, which is more docile, that is what you want to do. If you can avoid having two aggressors in the same tank, go with an aggressive and a docile. Keep the playing field calm, okay? Because then they're just going to keep going to war with each other if they're both aggressive. And if they're docile, they're probably not breeding material in the first place. Keep your tank in a dark room. Let them stay calm as much as possible. That is the best thing that you can do for them, and I'm pretty sure if you were in that situation too, you would like that too. Nobody watching. That's pretty much the whole basis of that. So now let's talk about water parameters. Water parameters are very, very important when it comes to this. Now, I've kept my flowerhorns, when they were breeding, I've kept them more in the 7.5 to 8.5 pH range, and you want that, at least where I came from, that's what you wanted. use RO water or RODI water. Okay, you want to keep as much crap out of the water as you can. So the process of doing that is much needed for something like this. So it looks like your Flowerhorns have got along. You've successfully made it through the period of them getting to know each other and recognizing each other. They're both calm with each other, and you remove your mid barrier. So what you want to do now is you want to grab something flat. Yeah, flat. So you can use a plate, a pot. You can go to Home Depot, buy a pot for $3 and just stick it in the tank. You know, you'll see that in a lot of videos here on YouTube with Flowerhorns and pots in the background, because that's made for dropping eggs. So what they'll do is they'll drop eggs against the sides of the pot or plate or flat slate rock, you know, anything of that nature. They'll drop, and then you'll get ready for babies. So what's going to happen is whatever they decide to lay the eggs on, okay, what I want you to do is slightly move it. Now that sounds weird, and your Flowerhorns will get pissed that you're even around their eggs. They get really aggressive, but for more successful chances of having babies, this is what you got to do. Put on a glove or something, I don't know. I did it with my bare hand. I think you'll be fine. It's very much worth it in the end. So what you're going to do is, say they laid some eggs on some slate rock. Well, push some more rock or sand under the rock to where it's tilted. Now this next part is why I say it's going to get tricky, because your male needs to do this thing called milting them, aka sperming them, and that's a really big deal. I mean, this is the male's part to procreate, is sperming the eggs up. And then once you have your eggs, okay, so say they're all spermed up, they change color, they're looking good. What you want to do is, I would recommend getting a breeder tank or getting a separate tank to put those eggs in. So what you're going to do is you're going to take, I'd say, so say I have a 40-gallon breeder that I'm going to put these eggs in. Okay, so what you're going to do is take half the water that you have from the old tank and put it into your breeding tank, your breeder tank, where the eggs are going to go, because you don't want to change the water parameters just yet. Take that, put it in there. I would recommend having sponge filters in it. Make sure the heat is the same as the tank, which I would recommend, I think 78 degrees will be just fine for them. Use sponge filters for filtration, because you don't want to have, if the babies hatch, you don't want them getting sucked up into any filters, so use a sponge filter. They are very cheap, they are very good for use. Every sponge filter I've had has always worked when I did this process. So do that. And next, what you're going to want to do is keep the lighting off. Okay, so every morning, turn your lights on, check if they've hatched. If they've hatched, you can tell, because I mean, they're going to be these weird little things swimming around with a little puff sack on the bottom of them. Congratulations, you made it. But turn it off as soon as you're ready to go. And if it didn't happen, just keep doing it every morning before you go to work or before you go to school. Double check. And as soon as you see that there's babies in there, you're good to go. Okay? Take the Sumo Red stuff that you got, or your Flowerhorn food that you've been feeding them already, crush it up, make sure it's very thin. Let it sink to the bottom, and eventually they'll get to it. Or what a lot of hobbyists do when it comes to breeding fish and when they're young is the brine shrimp method, baby brine shrimp. It always works. There's going to be enough protein in, for them to survive for a long time. Now, another thing you got to keep in mind though is how much eggs that are going to hatch versus how much eggs that don't hatch. I mean, there is going to be a point where, like majority of the time, 50% of the eggs won't make it. Especially with hybrid fish like flowerhorns. Sometimes they can have batches from 80 to 100 eggs that will make it. Now, that's a lot of food after a while, so you got to be prepared for this. Like, make sure you prepare months in advance before these hatchlings come out and before you got to take care of them. But then what you're going to do is, after a while, take the ones you want to keep. Me preferably, I like to watch out for the flowerhorns that are babies that'll have a bump on their head. It's a really small bump, you can't tell. Look, babies are not born with the KOKs directly on their head. That's never going to be the case. You have to guess which ones will look better as they grow. But just keep in mind, as they grow, they will get aggressive and they will kill each other. I mean, I've seen it happen, and it's heartbreaking. So be careful with that. This is why I say decide early. Another thing you can do is get a bunch of tanks ready for separating. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright guys, so that was basically the whole mating process and baby flowerhorn prep that you can expect to see, which has pretty good chances of succeeding. So little update, I just moved from the Northwest out here into Texas, and so far I'm loving it. We just moved into an apartment. I couldn't take my fish with me, which is really sad, but I do want to do a fish tank while we're out here. So what I was thinking about doing is getting a 40-gallon or some small tank like that, and maybe get some, you know what, I'm not even going to tell you guys. I'll tell you what. What I want you guys to do, comment down below and tell me what kind of fish you think should go in my 40-gallon breeder that I plan to go and get. Now, I'm open to a lot of things, even if the tank is smaller for those fish and it'll just end up being a grow out tank, perfectly okay with me. Just put down below what you think I should get for my apartment. And then another thing too, what kind of videos do you guys want me to make? I mean, I know I had a couple comments in my last video about doing more flowerhorn stuff, which I can keep going and keep doing, but if you guys have questions about African cichlids, plecos, so on and so forth, give me a shout, okay? I read all my comments. I mean, I'm not that popular yet, so, let's keep this going. And I'm actually kind of surprised, 384 views in my last video. Dude, I just started this YouTube channel. I didn't think it was going to be doing that great, the first month. That's crazy. I mean, it blows my mind. Maybe in the future I'm just going to look back and be like, oh, 384 views. Oh, what a big deal. Well, still. But anyways, guys, thank you. And 11 subscribers, thank you. I didn't expect to grow that quick. I mean, I know that doesn't seem like a massive accomplishment for most YouTubers, but you know what? It's a really good feeling, and if you guys want to see more of my stuff, I will give it to you. And I promise to start uploading a lot more. It's just with this move, it's been kind of hard, but hey, I'm A-okay now, and I want to do more for you guys, alright? So, this is Tyler from Tyler's Cichlid Collection, signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video.